Game one of the World Series goes tonight in Toronto, the Jays versus the Dodgers. On the eve of that, happy to hear from Mark Shapiro, President and CEO of the Toronto Blue Jays. Thanks for taking the time.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
How do you handle your nerves on a big day like today?
Try to be as consistent as I can possibly be in my routines. But after the morning workout and, some of the other morning routine that I've got, it is anything but normal. And that's probably the biggest challenge for all of us and for even the players is just the level of attention, the disruption of routine makes it a challenge to do what we do for 162 games and the rest of the postseason.
Yeah, the buzz inside must be quite enormous. What would you say led this team to the World Series?
I think it's the coolest thing for me is that the values and culture that we have spent a long time building, and even the failure and adversity that we've experienced in the past, is the foundation for how these guys have won. Their belief in each other, their belief in themselves, the level of toughness and togetherness that they play with. You can see it and you can feel it when you watch them play. It's palpable. And that's really how they built the success that they've had. It's never been about one player or one guy. It's been different people each night.
After every game, I know you ask, how do we get better? With the last Mariners game in mind, what do you do tonight to be better?
Well, we have Bo Bichette in the lineup, so that alone makes us better. Getting back one of our best player, a guy who was second in the American League in hits this year, and we have not had the entire postseason, which makes the outcomes even more remarkable. But I think, you continue to learn from each stage you're on and each experience you go through. The opportunity to play at this level on this stage for many players, even a guy like Don Mattingly with 36 years in Major League Baseball has never been to a World Series. This is only my third, and the last one was 1997 for me. This city and this country haven't been since 1993. So I think you have to have gratitude and appreciation for where you are, but you have to remember that you need to get back to doing the things and try to stay as routine as possible that got you here.
All right, let's get to the business of baseball. The Jays brought in $387 million in revenue last year. How does a playoff run like you've had change the business reality?
It's an enhancement, obviously. I think, it has some real magnitude of impact on this year in the tens of millions of dollars. But beyond that, it's a platform to help us with our business moving forward for season ticket plans next year. It's enabled us to sell more suites and more premium in our new home plate terrace club. And I think it's obviously with our owner being Rogers, it's a lift to their business. It's a lift to Sportsnet ratings. So, and I think, even beyond that, for the city of Toronto and what it's meant for tourism and restaurants and, businesses downtown, it lifts everybody. And I think that's, lifting spirits and lifting economic impact are both benefits of being in the World Series.
Yeah, you can't beat that. Last year, the Jays brought in $92 million in ticket sales alone. So what would be the anticipated revenue of the playoff season in ticket sales?
Well, we don't specifically say what those dollars are, but they're meaningful. I think maybe close to a third. If you make it to the World Series and then you play deep in the World Series, you could potentially have an impact of maybe a third of that amount. But the reality is, again, that the formulas that determine the sharing of the revenue in postseason are extremely complex. You're sharing revenue with the other team, you're sharing revenue with the league, and you're sharing revenue with the players and numerous other MLB entities as well. So the bottom line is the deeper you go and the more games you play, the more money you make. I think for us, the only thing that matters is, winning a world championship right now. And I think the after effect of that would have the biggest impact on our business for the longest period of time.
So, Mark, as you know, tickets get resold for thousands of dollars, making the games out of reach for many of the Blue Jays fans. How do you respond to demands for fairness?
I agree with them. I mean, it's frustrating for us. We do everything we humanly can to limit the impact of the secondary market. It is not something that we can completely control. We do live in a free market system, but I'm supportive of anything that gives people an opportunity to access seeing us play. When you come to the level of demand, much like a Taylor Swift concert of these games and what it means and how many people want to be in, the demand drives those prices to levels that are astronomical. We are not the ones benefiting from that. Other people that are selling their tickets in the secondary market are.
What has corporate interest been like over the past few weeks with the team on this playoff run?
It's a platform to grow it. We've had our corporate partnerships, certainly have grown over that time. We're looking, though, for partners that can be part of what we're doing long term, align with our values, align with the way our team plays and the things we do. So we're still pretty careful about those things. But again, winning at this level, on this stage is a platform to grow our business. And we are doing that with a sense of urgency, not just for the short term, but also for the long term.
Okay, you've been with the team now for 10 years. You're in the final year of a contract. You have said you want to stay. Can you share any movement on that front?
I think that, the things I've said are pretty consistent on that I was in one place for 24 years. I've been here now for 10. I'm not a grass is greener type of person. I tend to focus on and value, where I am. And I've had such an incredible opportunity to work with Edward Rogers and Tony Staffieri, and the level of empowerment they give me to lead is almost unprecedented in all of Major League Baseball. So I value that greatly. We've had a lot of success. Those things tend to line up, Morella, that the likelihood would be that I would stay.
A likelihood, I guess so. Let me ask you one more question. Do you get to give a dressing room pep talk? And if so, can you give us a preview of what that's like?
I give that pep talk in my own bathroom, and it's for an audience of one in the morning to myself. No, I mean, baseball is so interesting. It's not like football or some of the other sports where you play so few times. It's not rah-rah. There aren't many pregame speeches. It's kind of the lunch pail everyday professional sport. These guys, I played 162 regular season games. They played 30 preseason games prior to that. And they're winding their way through an off season where if we get 4 more wins, we'd win a world championship, and played over 20 games. So it's a unique sport, but I think the more we can keep it, regular, the more we can keep it routine, the more we can keep that about doing what they have done all season long since February, the middle of February, the better outcomes, the more likely the outcome is of winning 4 more games.
I love that you say that so matter of fact. Like this is the outcome. If we win 4 more games, we have the World Series.
That's it. Just 4 games. That's it.
That
Only
easy.
4.
All right. Mark Shapiro, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Great to be with you. Thank you. Let's go, Jays.